I was brought up by a physicist and a physician. They were more or less committed atheists who had left the Church of Scotland as a protest against sectarianism in Glasgow. And so my sister and I were told from an early age life was a cosmic accident. And that was it. There was no great meaning to it. And I can't really get past that.
Isn't there beauty to being an accident at a cosmic scale?
Yes, I wasn't taught to feel negative about that. And if anything, it was a frivolous insight that the whole thing was a kind of joke. And I think that atheism isn't really a basis for ordering a society, but it's been all right for me. I don't have a kind of sense of a missing religious faith. For me, however, there's clearly some embedded Christian ethics in the way my parents lived. And so we were kind of atheist Calvinists who had kind of deposed God but carried on behaving as if we were members of the elect in a moral universe. So that's kind of the state of mind that that I was left in. And I think that we aren't really around long enough to claim that our individual lives have meaning. But what Edmund Burke said is true. The real social contract is between the generations, between the dead, the living, and the unborn. And the meaning of life is, for me at least, to live in a way that honors the dead, seeks to learn from their accumulated wisdom, because they do still outnumber us. They outnumber the living by quite a significant margin. And then to be mindful of the unborn and our responsibility to them. Writing books is a way of communicating with the unborn. It may or may not succeed, and probably won't succeed if my books are never assigned by woke professors in the future. So what we have to do is more than just write books and record podcasts. There have to be institutions. I'm 57 now. I realized recently that succession planning had to be the main focus of the next 20 years, because there are things that I really care about that I want future generations to have access to. And so the meaning of life I do regard as being intergenerational transfer of wisdom. Ultimately, the species will go extinct at some point. Even if we do colonize Mars, one senses that physics will catch up with this particular organism, but it's in the pretty far distant future. And so the meaning of life is to make sure that for as long as there are human beings, they are able to live the kind of fulfilled lives, ethically fulfilled, intellectually fulfilled, emotionally fulfilled lives that civilization has made possible. It would be easy for us to revert to the uncivilized world. There's a fantastic book that I'm going to misremember, Milos's The Captive Soul, The Captive Mind, rather, which has a fantastic passage. He was a Polish intellectual who says, Americans can never imagine what it's like for civilization to be completely destroyed, as it was in Poland by the end of World War II, to have no rule of law, to have no security of even person, never mind property rights. They can't imagine what that's like and what it will lead you to do. So one reason for teaching history is to remind the lucky Generation Z members of California that civilization is a thin film and it can be destroyed remarkably easily. And to preserve civilization is a tremendous responsibility that we have. It's a huge responsibility. And we must not destroy it ourselves, whether it's in the name of wokeism or the pursuit of the metaverse. Preserving civilization and making it available, not just to our kids, but to people we'll never know, generations ahead. That's the meaning.